All right. Now I'm kind of hungry for bacon and cabbage. All right, I'm recording. So let's see what I can find here. What is this? No, that's not it. Why is that popping up? All right. Stop share. I don't know why that popped up. Homework 6-4. Here we go. All right. This one's pretty self-explanatory. Does everybody see the homework? I've clicked on so many things. Everybody see the homework?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what you're going to do right here, it wants to know which of these is that. So the easiest way to do it is just multiply. 5 times that's 5x. Then negative 30x. Oh, that's x squared. 30x. And then you multiply this, so you got plus 3x. And then multiply that, negative 18. Combine stuff in the middle. This is supposed to have an x there. You get 5x squared minus 27x minus 18. And that looks a lot like that. So you're going to click on this. Okay, now those aren't the easiest ones to do. If it starts with something besides x squared, if we were actually working this out, it just takes a while to work on some of these. So we got lucky on that one, and A was the very first one was the answer. Okay, now I don't want to really work off 4, so we got to come up with 4y and plus 31. So the plus 31 is the key, because they're all going to come up with 2 times 2 is 4, 9 times 5 is 45. So they're all going to come out that way. Okay, so it's the middle term that's going to separate the winner from the loser. So I'm looking at a positive 31. So before I go in and do that FOIL method and spend 10 minutes, I'm going to spend 5 minutes trying to figure this out. So 2 times 2, 9 times 5 is 45 minus 4, no. 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 9 is 45, and a 4 not going to come out 31. So now I don't think it's that one. I don't think it's that one. So 5 times 9 is 45. Well, I may have spoke too soon. Let me clear everything. That's going to be 18. 9 times 2 is 18. And 18 and 10. 18 plus 10 is 28. So let's do this way. 5 times 2 is 10. 2 times 9 is 18. Okay, so let's do this now. 5 times 1 is 5. And 4 times 9 is 36. Okay, so those are numbers. So I was right. This and this is not going to work. Okay. Now, since this is a negative, that means one of them's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. So we're going to It's one of these two. And I'm going with D, and let's work it out because 9 is positive, and I think that's going to give me a bigger number to subtract from. So 4 times y is 4y squared. 4 times 9 is 36. Negative 5 times that's negative 5y. And negative times a positive is negative 45. Combine like terms. Now, this is where the puzzle, this is where it's a little bit of a chess game. Because what you're trying to do is, in my opinion, you don't really want to do the FOIL method for all of them. They all, when you multiply them, give you 4y squared, and they all give you negative 45. So the key is, which one of them is going to give you a positive 31 in the middle? So I chose to start with this one because I got a positive 36, and that was pretty close to 31. So I was going to start there. This one gave me a negative 36, and I need a positive for this one right here. So D is the magic answer. Now, if you don't see them, if you can't, it's like a chess game. You're looking a couple of moves ahead with the thing in the middle. If you don't see that, then you have to use the FOIL method and multiply each one of them out. All right, well, I like this one because it's given us a head start. So 2 times what's going to give me 10? 5. 7 times what gives me negative 28? Negative 4. B. Okay, so 2 times 5 is 10. Boom. 7 times negative 4 is negative 28. So what you would type in is 5A minus 4B. Okay. Take a little step further, you go 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 4. Negative 4 is negative 8. Let's see. All right. Okay, yeah, I was looking at it wrong. All right, there we go. We're fine. 2 times 4, negative 8. And then when I go 7 times 5, I get 35. Okay, 35 minus 8, 27. All right, so we're good. That's your answer. All right, factor this one completely. So they're helping us out. 7 is a prime number. Prime numbers are good because then I don't have to worry about factors of 7. It's just 7 and 1. So it has to start off with, if it's factorable, it has to start off with a 7A and an A. There's no other combinations. The ones that kill you and give you a headache are the ones like well, 36. Things that have several combinations. Those are the ones that are killers. And 3 is the same thing. It's a prime number, okay? So to get a 10, I'm going to have to go +1 and +3. Now, the reason being is because here's the part we're trying to get, the one in the middle. So 7 times 1, 7a. Then it doesn't matter. We know that that's going to be 7a squared. Then you come here and you get 3a. And that gives us our 10a. So 7a plus 3 and a plus 1. There's no easy fix to it if you know your multiplication tables. Now, several years ago, I had a student, and I do not think there's anything wrong with this, got on Google and looked at some apps for his graphing calculator. And if you see that there's a port right there. And you can hook a cord from this to your computer. And he found some software that would do some factoring. Okay. Once we looked it up in class, and I'm thinking by now surely it's better, but he was looking for free stuff, and it said correct like 89% of the time. So he could type stuff in and it would give him answers. Now that would be up to you. Sometimes by the time you Google all that and learn how to use it, it's easier to do this. Okay. 2, good job. Means it has to start with a 2. And an R. That's our only combinations. Now 10 is 10 and 1, 5 and 2. And we're looking for a 9 in the middle. Okay, so if I go 2 times 5, that gives me 10. But the 10 minus 2 is going to give me either 8 or 12. And since everything's plus, I can put plus and plus. All right, so if I went 10 here, that's going to end up giving me a 20, and that's going to be way too much. So let's try this. This will work. This will work. I almost thought too much about it. This right here. 2 times r is 2r squared. 2 times 2 is 4. I like it so far. 5 times r is 5r. And 5 times 2 is 10. All right, so we add those right there, and we get our 9r. So you got to think a little bit ahead. 10 and 1. Do you see when I ruled it out? Because I follow my loop. So 2 times, and if I put the 10, if I had put a 10 right there, I would have gone 2 times 10, and that would have been 20. And there's no way I could do anything with a 1 to end up with a 9. So that's how I ruled out the 10. Okay. And if you really don't see that, then it requires a little bit more work on your part. But once again, I look at it like it's kind of a chess game. I'm trying to look a little bit ahead to find that middle term. There's no shortcut to this that I'm good at working in. So 91. So 91 is going to be 9 and 9. Now, I'm telling you this because 9 times 9 is 81, isn't it? Boy, I'm tired. That ACT Aspire test sucked the wind right out of me. So 91, I think, is a prime number. 91 divided by 7 is 13, so I lied. Okay, so 13 and 7. Now, why did I pick 7? Because 7 times 3 is 21. So I know 7 times numbers can equal end in a 1. That's just goes back to knowing multiplication tables. I don't know that this will work, but we'll have to. So now I'm going to go 13 and 7V. And I got to end up with just a 1. I've got to end up with just a positive 1. But since this is negative, I have a positive and a negative here. So one of my options is this, one of my options is that. This and that. Okay, 2. So if I were to put a 1, it's just going to work because 2 times 7 is 14 and 1 times 13 is 13. So I'm going to end up with a 14 minus a 13. So I need to go -1 plus 2. All right. So 13 times 7, 91 V squared. 13 times -1 is -13V. 2 times 7 is positive 14V. Looking good. And 2 times 1 is -2. Combine like terms. (1V minus 2). So this pen scratching is your final answer. It's not easy. My first instinct, obviously, was to not look at 91 and make up 81, and then I realized that was wrong. My second instinct was to think that 91 was a prime number, but it ended in 1. So 6, here's my thinking on that. 2, it can't be divisible by 2 because it's not an even number. 3 doesn't fall in under the division of 3 because 9 plus 1 is 10 and 10 is not divisible by 3. Can't be 4, it's not an even number. Can't be 5 because it's not 0 and 5. 6, I can't think of 6 times anything that ends in a 1, so I just kind of blew that one off. But 7 times 3 is 21. So it took about 10 seconds to go 91 divided by 7 to find out that it was 13. Now that's a lot of BS just to say that I know my multiplication tables, but 91 is not a number that I use or see very much. Okay. Well, there's nothing good about this problem. 26 has a lot of options. 26. This is question 7. Okay. So what I did was I printed off, this is why I know you guys get different things. So I printed off 6-4 kind of a cheat sheet, and it doesn't help me because what I printed off to work out and what I print off to what I pull up to show you are not the same. So 26, 13 times 2, 26 times 1. I'm going to go without this one. Okay. I just think that it's going to be too big of a number. 20, 2 and 10, 5 and 4, and obviously 20 and 1. So 13, that's not very good, 13. $13s plus 2s. All right, we got to get 73. Got to get some big number. So I'm just going to kind of play around with it. So I'm going to go 13 times 5, and I get 65. 13 times 5 is 65. And 4 times 2 is 8. Gives me 73. Now, I don't know if this comes with being old, so I figured out the numbers, but then I've got to try to remember what I just said. So I went 13 times 5, isn't that what I said? And minus 4. Okay, so let's see if this is right. 13 times 2, 26s squared. 13 times -5 is -65s. Negative times a positive is -8s. And a negative times a negative is 20. So sure enough, I combine like terms in the middle. So this is your answer, that hen scratching. Not easy. I try to rule out the really big numbers, because if I'd gone 26 times 5, that's a big number. 26 times 4, it's a big number. And I've got it, when I do the first one, I want to be around 70. I want to be around 73. I want to be able to think, well, if I add 8 to it, am I going to get it? If I add a few more to it, am I going to get it? If I end up with some big ass number and I know I don't have any other big numbers, then I know it's not going to work. All right, 13 is a prime number. But 12 is maybe the worst thing you can have. 2 and 6, 3 and 4. We got to end up with a 49. Okay. So 2y, 6y. So if I put in a 13, I'm going to change colors here. If I were to put in a 13, 2 times 13 is 26, and 1 times that's a 6, that's not 49. So I'm going to rule. Wait a minute. If I had put the 13 here, 6 times 13 is going to be a big number. It's going to be 87, 88, 78. So I'm going to rule this out for right now. I'm going to go 3. And 4. I'm just mumbling out loud. I mean, I'm working it out in my head just like you would be doing. Okay, so 13. All right, I might like this. 4 times 13. 13 times 4 is 52. Okay, I like it. So I'm going to put plus 13 and 1. 13 is a prime number, so that's, now I need to do this. I need to, this 13 is going to have to be negative because 49 is negative. So I'm, all right, so now let's go back and work this. 3 times 4 is 12y squared. 3 times 1 is positive 3y. 4 times 13 is negative 52. And negative times a positive is negative 13. So 3 minus 52 is negative 49. So this is your answer. Okay. Now, I got no shortcut for you. I don't know how long that took me to work it out. I'm trying to talk through my thought process when I'm working them. It's grunt work. This section is grunt work. Now, I've showed you, and I will show you again later, what your final looks like. Your final is multiple choice. So if they gave you a problem this hard, you have 4 choices. You don't have to break it down like this on your final. You will on your chapter test, but not on your final. All right. So 9 is 9 and 1, 3 and 3, and 4 is 4 and 1, 2 and 2. So 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 4 is 13. So I don't think that's going to work, but 3 times 4 is 12. Let's 3C. They're all plus signs. 3C plus sign. And we have to come up with 11. So, and they're all positive. So if I go 3 times 4, I'm going to get 12. And since everything's a plus sign, I'm never going to subtract 1 to get it down to 11. If I go 3 times 2, that's 6. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm back to 12. So I do not think it can be 3 and 3. This might be prime. 9, C, and C. So now I'm going back here and looking at these. If I went 9 times 1, that's 9, and I got a 4. So that's going to be 13. 9 times 2 is 18. So I'm going to click on prime and see if I'm tired. Oh, that one was prime. Just piddle farting around, and it turns out it's prime. So to help you a little bit, let me see. On the homework that I printed out, number 9 was prime. So when you get to number 9, I think there's a really good chance that your answer is going to be prime. Because there's 2 homeworks. Usually they try to keep the numbers, so you each get a different number 9, but it's the same type of question. So if I just did this one, it was prime. The one I printed off earlier was prime. That's what I'm thinking. And why do I tell you that? Because this stuff takes a long time, and it's not something that you're going to use. All right. First thing I'm going to do is factor out a 2. So that's going to be 28. Doesn't really help out a lot. That's still a big number. 28x squared plus half of 54 is 27 and a 5. So 28, 4 times 7, 28 and 1. I'm not even going to consider that. And 5 is 5 and 1. So I like this. 4 times 5 is 20. 7 times 1 is 7. 20 plus 7 is 27. So I like it. So 4x 7x. So 7, this needs to be a 1 because I'm going to go 7 times 1, and 4 times 5. There you go. That's your answer. So if when you do these problems, and everyone is an even number, 56, 54, 10, factor a 2 out. If you're still left after that, factor out a 4. I don't think you'll really go that high. But look and see if what you can factor out to get the numbers a little bit more reasonable. Okay. Okay, that's 6, 4. Why did I keep popping up with that? My bad. Stop. I'm just stupid right now. All right. Let's see. I know what I want to do. All right. Back to this. I'm trying to get to the next homework. I'm trying to, you cannot manage while you're recording. All right. All right, here we go. Okay. All right, there's 14 questions on the next section. If I can find y'all. All right, you see me again?
Mhm.
All right, this is Tuesday. I don't want to give you 2 sections because these take too long. There's 10 of these, and that's going to take you 30 minutes. And then there's 14 of the next section, and they're not quite as hard. So we'll finish up chapter 6 Thursday. When I say finish up, I mean the homework. So Thursday, we will do the next section, which is 6-5. And for whatever reason, they threw in a section out of chapter 5, 5-8. And I'll look at that and see if that's a mistake or not. But we'll cover those 2. And then Tuesday, we will go over the test. And then you have the next Thursday to take the test. And then after that, we're going to review.
On 6.3, on mine it says it's past due.
On which one?
6.3.
Okay, I thought I changed those. I will.
Mine